when the demand goes to the maximum, power plants are running full, the transmission lines are congested, kind of like a crowded highway. You just can't always get all the power that everyone needs. Mort Webster, Professor of Energy Engineering. Electricity demand is highest when the temperature goes high because air conditioning, it draws a lot of energy. And the hotter it is outside, the harder the air conditioning has to work. It's kind of like putting a lot of extra weight on the back of your car and you'll use more gas trying to drive at the same speed. Because demand is so high, pretty much all the power plants that can be running are running. Also, you get a lot of congestion on the network trying to get from where generators, sometimes power plants are far away, not in the middle of the cities where we have a lot of people running their air conditioning, and there's only so much power you can get over those lines. So if the demand, what people want to use, is more than what the grid can get to where they are, then people will experience, hopefully not blackouts, but sometimes rolling blackouts or brownouts where the whole grid operator kind of lowers a little bit what everyone's getting so that they don't have to cut anyone off. If one particular area, you just can't get enough power in or it's overloaded, sometimes they have to shut off sections. What they most are trying to avoid are huge, widespread power blackouts that go all the way down the East Coast and take a couple days to restart. The last big one we had here was in 2003. And so a lot of it is about making sure that, because if the line to where you live is overloaded and we cut it off, now all that power is going to get rerouted on the remaining lines. They get overloaded and you can get a domino effect in the worst case. I think that's what the grid warnings are saying. They would like if everyone could use a little less power, particularly in workplaces. So a place like Penn State uses a lot of energy locally. We're going to be asked to lower this afternoon, turn things off if you really don't need them. They might not run the air conditioning to the same temperature. People in their homes could, if you can tolerate slightly higher temperatures, and if enough people do that, maybe no one will lose power. If you lose power, you're going to have no AC until it comes back on. A blackout means that some particular part of the network, maybe where you live or work, all the electricity goes out. Just like sometimes in a storm, you lose power to your house. Blackouts they're almost all the time, they're localized. So in the neighborhood where you live, the local line, that sort of last line to your house, goes down in a storm. If they have to cut off maybe parts of a town or a city because the whole place is overloaded, that would still be a blackout. Rolling blackouts, which are usually only in these extreme emergencies, if you don't want to lose the entire East Coast and people want more electricity than there is, what they might do is strategically turn off one section for just a little bit, then turn off another one. That way, no one loses power for days, which would not be fun in this heat. But for an hour or two, people can tolerate it and you're sort of spreading the pain around. The last thing is a brownout. What they can do is, without getting too technical, you can lower the voltage a little bit, not too much or it becomes dangerous for equipment. And essentially, it just kind of like lowers by some percent what everybody's using, what everybody's getting, but things are still operating. Your lights might dim a little bit. If you have very specialized equipment, you'd want to plug that into things that regulate it and don't lower voltage so you don't break it, but most devices can handle it. So one of the challenges is we have to be willing to perhaps pay a little bit more in your monthly bill because it costs more to build all these power plants and to build more transmission lines so that we don't end up with more blackouts in the future. We've not had to invest at that scale for many decades. The system was towards the end of the last century, was kind of overbuilt for a while. We went way above what we needed, and then we've kind of been coasting as a society on our grid, on the investments we made and not having to do more. We're butting up now against the limits of what's there and the age of things that need to be retired or replaced. And there has to be a willingness on the part of all of us to say, we want the next 50 years of reliable electricity. We have to pay for that. That's the biggest obstacle.